Let me first now give you some tips on negative that really helped me. So valuable for me. I think you'll appreciate these. Here's number one. Negative is normal. Boy, that was helpful for me. No, it wasn't weird to be negative. Negative is normal. Normal meaning it's a part of the human experience. And it's a part of all of our experience. All of us have this same experience, the negative side of life. So negative is normal. Now, negative is not successful, but it is normal, meaning it's a part of the life experience. Here's number two. Negative is not to be ignored. Negative is very real. As soon as you've planted the garden, the busy bugs and the noxious weeds are out to take it all. We have two things going for us in our human experience. Here's one, opportunity, and here's number two, the threat to the opportunity. So we deal with both of these twin scenarios in life, opportunity and the threat. Now, the threat to opportunity we call the negative side of life. Number one, it's normal, meaning it's a part of the life experience. Number two, it's not to be ignored. I know some people teach different, but listen to them and listen to me and make up your own mind. I know some people teach, just turn your head real quick and say, there's no weeds, there's no weeds, there's no weeds. Hey, they'll take your garden. Okay? So you can't play silly mind games. You say, well, then how can you have a good garden? Well, you got to kill weeds. So here's number three. Negative is to be mastered or conquered. That's part of the life experience. Now, this twin scenario of the life experience is unique. Negative, positive. In fact, we could probably get into quite a philosophical discussion if we wanted to. Would there be positive without negative? Here's the best I've been able to come up with. It doesn't seem like it. That's about the best I can come up with. Here's what it seems like. It seems like, based on our, our finite awareness now, since we're not infinite, we're finite, meaning creatures of the world, for the moment at least, that's about the best we can come up with. It seems like it takes both to make a unique human experience, both negative and positive. In fact, one suggests the other. Would there be life without death? It doesn't seem like it. What makes life valuable? Death? Somebody asked me once if I had a good description of life, and I said, yes, I think I do. Life is the struggle to keep death at a respectable distance. Death seems to want to move in prematurely, and get us. So to have a good, long, flourishing life, what do you have to do? Push back, push back, push back, push back. Now, if you don't push it back, it pushes you back. There's a push-shove going on here, and it's this negative-positive stuff. Would there be light without darkness? It doesn't seem like it. One suggests the other. Would there be success without failure? Well, I don't think so. You wouldn't call it success. You'd have to call it something else. It's the twin scenario that makes life interesting, fascinating, wondrous in its possibility, but also dangerous in part of the content. So this is the best I've been able to come up with. Negative is normal. It's not to be ignored, but it is to be conquered and mastered. But it is part of the experience. Don't deny yourself the opportunity to drink from both cups, negative, positive. That's the life experience. And hey, you wouldn't have it any other way. What if you went to listen to a symphony orchestra one evening and the symphony orchestra only played little happy high notes all evening? Just little happy high notes all evening, little happy high notes. How much of that could you take? A whole evening of little happy high notes? No, that doesn't represent life. Don't you want to hear the crash of the cymbals? The music that'll scare you to death, describing the tragedy as well as the triumph? And the answer is yes, that's part of the life experience. What if the minister only prayed happy prayers every Sunday? How much of that could you take? Happy, happy every Sunday, happy, happy every Sunday, happy. No. No. Who's going to pray angry prayers? Who's going to pray frustrated prayers? Who's going to weep in public for the lost children? Come on. Negative and positive. In fact, in one sweep of one sentence, ancient script says it best. There's a time to laugh, of course. And once you've learned to laugh, just keep on laughing. No. There's a time what? To cry. And you've got to be so sophisticated and well-educated that you don't laugh when it's time to cry. Come on. Another writer said, rejoice with those that rejoice. But that's not the end of it. It also says what? Weep. Weep with those that weep. You don't laugh when somebody's weeping. You what? See if you can't find and think of something to cry about when somebody's crying. You gotta drink from both cups. Negative is part of the life experience. In fact, I teach kids that you gotta think negative when it's positive. Here's a couple of pieces of the ant philosophy. Number one, ants never quit. What a great philosophy. If they're going somewhere and you stop them, I'm telling you they'll look for another way. And how long will they look? Until they find it or die. What a great philosophy. Here's number two. Ants think winter all summer. Why do you suppose it looks like they're always in a hurry? You can't think summer all summer. We'll call you naive at the worst. An ancient story says, don't build your house on the sand in the summer. Why? It's easy to get faked out by blue sky and fleecy clouds. You can't get faked out by the summer, build your house on the sand. What a tragedy that would be, just to think summer all summer. You can't think summer in the summer. You got to think winter in the summer. You got to think negative when it's positive. You say, well, how can you think winter when it's a blue sky and fleecy clouds? You got to try. Or get somebody that's been through a winter and let them come scare you to death. Say, let me tell you about these winters that can come. Say, oh no, I'm just going to sit here and think positive. We'll come get your children. Take them to safety. Here's what you got to do in the summer. Think enough about winter to find you a rock. To build your house on a rock. Why? The storms are going to come. You say blue sky. No, you don't understand. You can't get faked out by blue sky. You got to think negative when it's positive. One of the best scenarios I've got is the summer. It's called the season of summer. Here's what's unique about the summer. You got two challenges in the summer. Number one, to nourish your values. Number two, to fight the threat to your values. In the summer, you've got to nourish your good and fight your evil. You've got to nourish the garden and fight the weeds. Summer is a challenging time. In the summer, you must nourish like a mother, and you must destroy like a father. Love like a mother. Hate like a father. In the summer, give life like a mother to your values. And take life like a father. Take the life of your enemy. Lest they what? Take the life of your family. Father says to whatever threatens his family, take 3 more steps toward this family, you'll cease to exist. I'm father. I kill. In the summer, you've got to love like a mother and hate like a father. If you don't love and hate, I'm telling you, I pity your chances for the future. You say, well, I've been just taught to love. We'll send you off to love la la land. You can't just love. Ancient script says it best what? Love good and what? Hate evil. Love good and hate evil. One of the greatest conversions of all time. The man said later after his conversion, the things I once hated, I now love. And the things I once loved, I now hate. Next seminar, we'll teach communications, how parents ought to put love and hate in the same sentence. You've got to put love and hate sometimes in the same sentence. I love you, you say to your child, but I hate what's happening. I love you, but I hate where you're going. I love you, but I hate what's going on. Now, it is possible, yes, to love like a father and hate like a mother, just so you get both done. Nothing more dangerous than an angry mother, especially in the animal kingdom. Beware, Mama Bear. If she thinks you're after her cubs, you'll cease to exist. She kills. You got to be like that. But that's the key. Both nourish and kill. Give life and take life. Love and hate. So important to understand this twin scenario of life. You got to be like your bloodstream. That's one of the best illustrations, your bloodstream. Red corpuscles to what? Nourish and give food and give life. White corpuscles to what? Fight like a father and take life. Thank God for white corpuscles that think negative all day. White corpuscles say, just show me some infection, I'll kill it. Why? If I don't kill it, what? It kills you. You got to love and hate. You got to give life and take life. Now, next piece. We all have enemies. You got to do your share of negative thinking. How to destroy your enemies. Ancient stories said they returned to rebuild the walls of the temple and the city for their future. And as they built the walls of the temple and the city, they had a trowel in one hand and a sword in the other hand. The trowel was for what? To build their future. The sword was for what? Their enemies. I'm asking you to get just as good at the sword as you are at the trowel. Let's talk about some of the enemies on the inside that you've got to take sword to and destroy them before they destroy you. Here's number one, indifference. What a tragic disease this is. Indifference. Ho-hum, let it slide. Tragic. Take sword to this enemy. Here's one problem with drift. You can't drift to the top of the mountain. Next one, enemy of all of us, indecision. Indecision is called the thief of opportunity. Let it steal your chances for a better spring. Let it steal your chances for a fortune of the future. I'm telling you, it's tragic of immense proportion. Indecision. Take sword to this enemy, indecision. Next is doubt. Sure, there's room for healthy skepticism. You can't believe everything, but you can't let doubt then take over. Doubt the past and doubt the future and doubt each other and doubt the government and doubt the possibilities and doubt the opportunities and worst of all, doubt yourself. I'm telling you, it'll destroy your life and destroy your chances, empty your purse and your heart. Doubt is an enemy. Go after it. Next is worry. We've all got to worry some, but don't let worry conquer you. Let it alarm you. We've all got to be alarmed, but we don't want to be conquered. Worry is useful. 3 o'clock in the morning, your daughter's not home yet. You got to worry. But now you can't let worry loose like a mad dog loose in the house, drive you into a small corner. Here's what you got to do with your worries. Drive them into a small corner. Whatever's out to get you, you got to get it. Whatever's pushing on you, you got to push back. Guess where illness is in your life right now? Testing the outer edges of your health plan, looking for a weak spot. And if illness can find a weak spot, it'll muscle in and take the territory. Unless you've got enough discipline and power to say, I'm not going to let that happen. I'm going to fight illness like an enemy. I'll do enough push-ups to destroy illness. And if you don't do the push-ups and you don't get a book on nutrition and you don't take care of your good health, illness says, we'll soon have this clown. Do battle with your enemy. These opposites are in conflict and we're caught in the middle. Darkness and light, liberty and tyranny, illness and health, success and failure, death and life, good and evil. Next is overcaution, the timid approach to life. Timidity is not a virtue, it's an illness. And if you let it go and go and go, it'll conquer you, leave you without a promotion. Timid people don't get promoted. They don't advance and grow and become powerful in the marketplace. Not timidity. And it is possible to conquer it. Don't let your illness conquer you. Don't let your shyness conquer you. Don't let your worries conquer you. They're your enemy. Take sword to your enemies. Drive them into as small and manageable a corner as you possibly can so that you can flourish in the rest of the house. The next one is pessimism. Pessimism is the enemy of us all. You've got to educate your own pessimism. Tendency to pessimism. To the pessimist, the glass is what? Half empty. But here's also what pessimism will try to get you to believe. It's only half empty. You've got to say, well, pessimism, that's ignorant. It's not only half empty, it's also what? Half full. Don't let your pessimism try to get you to believe something is only. It isn't only. Somebody says, well, I'm so positive I only see it half full. Well, it's also half empty. Can't you handle that? That's going to ruin your day and ruin your future. Guy says, well, I don't let people talk negative around me. Well, we'll put you in some freaky colony. Come on, can't you handle a little negative talk? Can't you handle a little truth? Can't you handle a little tragedy around you? Yes, of course. Come on. Walk out of first grade, second grade. Don't let your life become shallow, saying, oh, no negative stuff around me. That's silly. Become mature. Become powerful. But then don't let pessimism trick you into saying it's only one way. It isn't only one way. It is also half full. But it's not only half full. It is half empty. Here's the last one, complaining. There's room for legitimate complaint. But if you let this one loose, it'll conquer you. Complaining take over your life, destroy you and leave you without anything. Nobody wants to take along a complainer. Nobody wants to promote a complainer. Nobody wants to live with one. Nobody wants to operate with one. Nobody wants to be a partner of one. Nobody wants to have one around. It'll lace you out of more opportunity than you can possibly imagine. Let this disease take over, grab you by the throat, If you don't think this one is bad, ask the children of Israel, of Old Testament fame. Typical of us all, their story just happened to get in the book. Story says, children of Israel were slaves. God performed a series of dazzling miracles and got them out. And now they're heading for the promised land. Remember the story? Heading for the promised land. Tragedy of the story. They never got there. Reason, from day one they started to gripe. They griped about the food. They just got delivered from slavery, and now they're saying, this food's not all that hot. I mean, give us a break. How much can you take? They whined and cried and griped about the water. In the desert, they got water. But they say, this water doesn't taste that good. I mean, give us a break. They whined and cried and griped about the leadership that delivered them from slavery. Said, this leadership's not all that competent. I mean, give us a break. They whined and cried because it was too hot. It was too cold. It was too far. It was too difficult. It was too rocky. They whined and cried for years. Finally, God said, I've had it. Trip canceled. Or something like that. The story says they died in the desert. Never got to the promised land after all that trouble. Which I guess means two things. One, indulge in this complaining long enough, you'll get your future canceled. Future promotions, future anything. Nobody wants to be around. And I guess this story also means even God himself can only take so much. Now, that's the negative side. Think negative when it's positive. Learn to hate evil, love good, hate tyranny, love liberty. Learn to love health, hate sickness.